Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Geeks and Degenerates. Today we are talking about X-Men First Class, uh, unknown movie that came out way back in 2011. What do you guys think of them rebooting the X-Men?
Is this a reboot? It's kind of a soft reboot. Like, um, admittedly, when I came into this, like, I thought it was gonna suck because like Fox has been very hit and miss, and this was after Last Stand, right?
And Origins.
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 Last Stand and Origins. So like Fox wasn't exactly coming from a good place. And like I remember like watching this with my parents, and my mom was like, "This movie's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, and it's gonna be your fault that it sucks." And it would be like, "I just got a feeling, ma, trust me, trust me. I think it's gonna be all right. We're gonna have ma." And then we watched it, and I've never been happier to be with. Yeah, but like expectations for the movie were low because this kind of came out of nowhere for pretty much everybody. Like no one expected this movie to be good, especially after fucking Origins and Last Stand. So like a lot of people slept on this movie, but like I think all of those people fucking regret sleeping on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
For me, yeah, I watched it in theaters as well back in 2011. For me, since I was a kid when the other X-Men movies came out, I kind of liked them a lot. I didn't really think about the plot, so I was like, yeah, more X-Men. Especially Origin, I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, you naive little bastard.
Back
But-
when Jomer looked like the brown Michelin Man.
Insert picture here. Just
Don't you dare! Shut the fuck up. Yeah, these were the days when Seb used to dunk my head in the toilet. But, I'm kidding.
Your head in the toilet.
You wanted to.
Yeah, but I never did it because evidence. It did work better than that.
Mm.
Phone books don't leave bruises.
Anyway, but yeah, to be honest, like from all of them, this was my favorite. I think especially now, minusing Logan. Like just, I'm not gonna put Logan in the X-Men franchise. I'll leave it as is. But to me, First Class was a pretty good movie, and it was, for me, my favorite. How about you?
I'm the same way as Jomar in the sense that I was a kid when a lot of the X-Men movies came out. I actually was more scared of them, especially I forget which one it was, but I was a very scared child of like superhero stuff for some reason, especially action movies. But coming into it recently, I'm glad that I gave it a watch. I tried watching it before, but I didn't really take much from it because again, I wasn't very mature enough to review movies compared to now. So it was really freaking good. Like I was really impressed by it. Like I had low expectations, not because it was, but not because like not because I hated it or anything, but it was more just a case of like I don't know how they're going to make, I don't know what they're gonna do. It's a Fox movie, and even until now, I didn't really hear much of the hype. I mean, like you said, Seb, like you know, like you said, it was coming.
Seb, easy lang, Seb. What's
Like I wasn't sure what kind of
That
movie it
comes out
was
of the
gonna
screen.
be. Yeah, Seb goes out of the screen like, oh my god. But yeah, I just wasn't sure how the movie was gonna go out, and I was just keeping my expectations like, okay, I don't know what it's gonna be like. This is my first X-Men. It was really actually, now that I think about it, it was my first X-Men movie that I remember. Like I was
Okay.
11, so I could actually remember things. So everything that came out, I was like 5 or 6, and I didn't remember anything. So I was
Things
like,
started
oh,
to be cohesive around 11.
yeah, for some, grabe naman.
Wow,
No,
Joey.
that is true. That is true. I didn't properly understand endings.
Okay.
Like
Okay,
before I
that's
hit two-digit ages, because like I remember like watching Saving Private Ryan, and
Mm.
all I retrieved from watching Saving Private Ryan was like, I think I want to go to war,
Oh yeah.
which is
You
not
would-
the message you're supposed to get from Saving Private Ryan. So obviously I didn't get it.
yeah. So it was my first X-Men movie, and of course at the time I didn't know much. So now watching it again, I was really impressed. I really, really liked it. I have so many notes from it. It was just so much. There was so much to love, really.
For me, this was my first X-Men movie in the theater as well, and like Nina, I had no clue of what a good movie was. Yeah,
I'm so old.
they
I watched all of these in the cinema and I understood them all for the most part. And now everyone's just saying, I've never seen it in the cinema. And I'm
I was
just
too
like, "Children,
young.
Yeah.
these are all children.
um we actually have a DVD of Origins because as a kid I asked for it. It's like I like Wolverine. I also have a DVD of the First Class too. But so yeah,
I have a DVD of Origins as well,
hey,
but it's like the one from Ruins. And every time I play it, like majority of the parts aren't like fully rendered yet, so it's like you can
Like
see
the movie.
hard raw CGI.
You wanna age me real bad just now? You know what I got for Christmas 2000, or let's assume 2001 or 2002. You know what I got for Christmas?
What?
A VCD of X-Men 1.
Oh wow.
That's how old I am. Kids, remember that? Remember when you had the side? When you remember when you needed multiple disc slots in your in your disc player in order to watch one movie? And if the movie went on for 2 hours, you had 4?
Like all of you, I was blown away by it, especially like revisiting it when it dropped on Netflix a couple of years ago. I'm like, I forgot how this movie is. I'll just rewatch it to see if it holds up, and thankfully it does. Even now, when I watch it again for this review, this revitalized the X-Men franchise after the lows that were The Last Stand and Origins, and this brought some new hope for the franchise that it will become a great franchise. What it did, in your opinions, that's a story for another day. But for now, First Class was a very good start to this new X-Men saga. One of the hurdles this movie had to overcome was the recasting of Professor X and Magneto, since Stewart and McKellen did such a great job in their respective movies. What do you think of McAvoy and Fassbender as both Professor X and Magneto, respectively, and what scenes really stuck out to you to be like that's what makes them a great Professor X or Magneto?
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead. Go nuts.
I am a huge fan of both, so I'm a bit biased. Like I said in a previous review, I'm I'm a big fan of a bunch of actors, and I was really blown away by the both of them. I don't really have much reference prior to McAvoy and Fassbender, at least for the younger version of Magneto and Professor X. So seeing them both as like the younger side, younger age of them, it was very interesting, and I loved the way the movie kind of showed their what do you call that? Their upbringings. Like it was a really good what do you call that? Like it was a really good parallel. Like you could see where the pessimism of Magneto comes from and the optimism of Professor X comes from. Especially towards like mutants and stuff. Like you could really see the way that I have notes on this. Sorry.
You mean contrast, right?
Sorry, but I say, oh god, yeah, you're
You
right.
said
The contrast.
parallel.
Oh shucks, it's the hand gesture. Yeah,
They're
the
both
contrast.
optimists.
The contrast. They're both.
I just need to get this out of the way. Do you know how to clap back, Raven? Because I
Gosh, why did I say parallel? But yeah, I
It's
really
fine.
enjoyed the contrast of their upbringings, and it really paved the way for the rest of the movie, and it really showed like, oh, okay, so this is, especially there was a comment that that Magneto said, where he was like, "Oh, Charles, how could you have such a how could you have such a difficult upbringing when they like introduced the big mansion?" And it was really like a not a pivotal point, but it was a really interesting point to make. Na, oh nga no, they really came from different backgrounds, and it really shaped who they are, both as like people and like as super people, super people, or like I guess the
Mutants.
heroes, mutants. I couldn't say. I was like, should I say mutants? I wasn't sure if I
Mutants,
should have.
right? It's not racist, don't worry.
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
fine.
I know it's not racist. I was just like, is the right? What's that anyway? Yeah, that's what I thought of there.
But yeah, for me, is the chemistry between Professor X and I was about to say Doctor Strange, Magneto.
Oh, it's a good thing you stopped yourself.
Yeah.
I would love that crossover though.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Three of them, they'll be gods.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Scenes that stood out to me, you could really see the chemistry between them, especially in that scene where Magneto tries to move the satellite dish,
Oh.
and Charles just helps him a little bit. Oh, I love that scene. I really love that scene.
It's a great emotional moment too.
Yeah, and then especially the recruitment scene. You could see them working
Fuck off.
together.
Fu-
What?
Go fuck yourself. No, Wolverine.
Fuck off.
Oh, all right, all right. but, but yeah, it shows the amount of things that they've done together, and by the end of it, you can see that there was a great loss as they. We're skipping ahead, but yeah, they go in separate directions. Sadly to say, but
Eric,
Yeah.
yes. Eric, no.
yes. But I love that the entire build-up. Sure, there was some stories with the side mutants, but they really focused their writing on.
You should have said side characters.
Side-
Side mutants.
Because of X-Men, there's like a thin line between mutant and racism now.
Dude, character is an okay enough
Yeah.
generic term.
I just went with it.
Side mutants.
Oh, I have a problem with saying it, and then he doesn't have a problem with saying it, that he
Yeah.
replaces generic terms with it. It's okay. It's alright, it's alright.
The side characters, yeah. But I do like it that they do focus their attention on Charles and Xavier, Charles and fuck, I forgot his name.
Eric.
Magneto. Eric.
It's okay.
Yeah. How about you, Seb?
You guys have any idea when X-Men was created? Like,
Oh,
any...
In the 60s, right?
So yeah,
It was
I was
in
gonna
the
say.
60s. Do you know what Magneto and Charles Xavier are an analogy for? Height of the Civil Rights Movement. Charles Xavier and Magneto were always supposed to represent Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense.
I did not know that.
Yes. But because the comics would not have accepted an African American bunch of leads, they made them Holocaust era. And they were just like, oh, they just age slow. But yes, the contrast in their upbringing was so well represented within like the contrast and Magneto being a Holocaust survivor and Xavier somehow being able to bypass that by being a rich Brit with privileges. Like you can see where Xavier's idealism comes from, and you can see where Magneto's lack of trust and cynicism comes from, because these guys have gone through absolute opposite lives. And like Xavier's a good person who's never gone through terrible things, and Magneto is a person who could have been good, who went through absolute hell from people who, for one, don't regret it. You see what happens later, and I don't think Charles can ever truly understand what Eric went through, and you get to see that Charles really cares about it. And you can see that Eric really tried to see things from Charles's perspective, but a lot of the things in this movie just move them apart, because at the end of the day, these are similar movements and very different tactics, very different ways of executing upon what they believe in. This is ultimately what pulls them apart. It's really heart wrenching, but this is really more of like, it's kind of a Magneto movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of Charles sprinkled onto it, but it's basically a Magneto movie. It's basically Magneto Nazi Hunter. So
Actually, I'd love to see a solo series of that.
It was supposed to be
Yeah.
that.
yeah, I just want to see Michael Fassbender just killing all of the Nazis. With Jimmy McElroy just going, stop, Eric, no, stop, then chase me down, Charles. Charles is.
Can I add? Can I add point? Not that point, but like, can I add the serious point?
Jerry.
I just want to add to the serious point of what Seb said na parang there was a line that Eric says where he was like, I've been at the mercy of men following orders, never again. And I found that really, that stood out to me because it was really like, and then this.
They're just following orders.
This. And he says that line, and it was really.
Mama Moy.
Mama. We have to put subtitles for like that, but that's your mom.
Your mom's just following orders.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, but like, yeah, I really found their performance, like that, like Michael Fassbender's performance of Magneto to be really, like, it was really good in my opinion, and the delivery of that line was really good, and it really brought home the point that tama, he really went through a different upbringing compared to Charles and everything that Seb said.
Mystique really sums up Charles in one phrase that when she says, no matter how bad the world gets, you still want to be a part of it. No matter how much they turn against us, you still want to be a part of this world. And
Yourself, bitch.
Surprisingly, now I think about it, just really quick, there are a lot of really good lines from this movie.
there were.
We're able to quote a lot, aren't we?
Yeah.
If anything, this movie, it's like, you know, I come from a more Eric type background, and this really helped me process a lot of my own trauma. Not get over it, but more of just understand who I am and why I am the way I am. It makes me look at it and just like, wow, my life sucks.
Oh Lord.
Like, my life's been real sad. Oh well, at least I have Michael Fassbender to make me feel better about myself, or make me at least accept myself.
But yeah, like all of you, I was really happy with the way Professor X and Magneto were portrayed. As John pointed out, their chemistry is pretty great, especially when they were still friends and training together at the compound. And you see that scene with the satellite, and Charles digs into his memories and reveals that precious moment between him and his mom.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
That is
So fucked up. It's such a fucked up moment to see. Like the last moment you felt your innocence. That's so fucking sad.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like in the theater, I remember this in the theater when the movie opens in Auschwitz. Theater goes dead silent because there were kids in the background just screaming to see a superhero movie, and then it opens. So the adults were like, "Shh." I was like, "Oh, damn."
child, it's Auschwitz.
That's horrific.
You know, this actually really ages you guys in a way that like makes me go like, wow, children. Because the first X-Men movie also opened in Auschwitz. So it's like, it's a scene I've seen before, so I'm like,
But yeah, it does.
oh, this isn't the first time I've seen this, but now I'm more adult, and now I understand better. Oh my god, Magneto's a Holocaust survivor. Magneto's a Holocaust survivor. I cannot see it.
I really do like the scene between Charles and Eric when they're playing chess and they're talking about what's going to happen the next day, and Charles is like, we have to be the better man, and Eric's like, we already are. and that scene alone shows their differences in morals and characteristics and what mutants should be or the path they should go down.
It's just Jose Rizal in this movie fashion. Like that's what it is, isn't it?
The
It is.
pacifist and the extremist kind of deal.
Yeah. Aside from Charles and Eric, what other mutants or X-Men really stood out to you?
Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw. That is what is
Shaw.
he pretty much just has a
George is like, all right, processes it, moves on.
he's right. But I mean, he pretty much has the power of like one for all, ain't it?
No, because
No.
this is absorption of any sort of energy.
Energy.
Like kinetic energy absorption, which is just the most fucked up thing anyone can have. Because literally, someone could be going like this, and Sebastian Shaw just absorbs it. You know?
Yeah, knowing how fucked up his fucking power would be, he could get run over or something and not get hurt.
Yeah.
Or a bomb could drop on him and he could not get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get him in his sleep, I guess. But when he's conscious, he's pretty much OP as fuck.
Yeah. Plus, he had the helmet.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had the helmet too.
Yeah.
Wait, what were we talking about? The mutants?
Yeah, other
Yeah,
mutants.
other characters, I guess, like, stood out for you. I don't know why you guys keep on calling them mutants, like you have to be politically correct.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my
Over
god.
a race of people that don't exist.
I mean, it just sounds cool to me. That's why I'm calling them mutants.
What, Enzo?
It just sounds cool to me saying mutants.
Meat.
Because it's illegal to say it because it's Fox. like the fucking MCU was just like, they're enhanced. That's it.
Sure.
No, I
Don't
mean,
question
like,
it.
for me, the ones that stood out for me was yeah, mostly Sebastian Shaw, the father of Nightcrawler. I can't remember his name.
Azazel.
Azazel. Mystique and Quicksilver. Those were the-
Quicksilver?
Quicksilver was here.
No. What are you talking about? That's Days of Future Past.
Fast.
Yeah, dude. Dude. You're jumping ahead a bit.
I joked about it before we shot this, and I didn't.
You know what? As much as that's a mistake, the transitions us into one particular factor is that this is where Fox gave up on their timeline. The only thing that sucks about this movie was that X-Men movies stopped being good within the X-Men universe, and like you can only look at them within the context of them being individual movies that happen to have characters from other movies. Because like if you look at the X-Men timeline from here on, the only way to like them is if you ignore that there is a timeline.
Yeah, makes sense.
Except for maybe Days of Future Past. Like, everything else, like, let's say Apocalypse. If you were to like Apocalypse, you just have to pretend the other shit never happened. Like, that's the way to like Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But did you mean Banshee, Joe, or
No, I
Havoc?
really meant Quicksilver because I was thinking of that scene.
You were
in the
genuinely
kitchen.
thinking
Okay.
He runs and there's the music playing.
But
He does this with a soup.
yeah, Kevin Bacon did such a great job as Sebastian Shaw. It's like, even McAvoy's like, really? Kevin Bacon as a bad guy? Sure, let's go with it. And they're supposed to get Colin Firth.
Bacon's played really good bad guys. What are you talking about?
I've been saying, they're saying McAvoy questioned it at first. He's like, really? Bad guy?
Oh yeah.
They were supposed to get.
From Footloose.
They're supposed to get Colin Firth from Kingsman first, and then they got
How would that up?
Kevin Bacon instead. But yeah, he plays the villain super well in this one.
Colin Firth looks more like comic Sebastian Shaw than Kevin Bacon ever would, but like Kevin Bacon fucking nailed that shit.
Terrified every time he was on screen.
No, I agree with you. I was also really terrified of the kind of threat that he was because I forgot how the movie ended. So from the first time I watched it, because again, I was very young. It's probably been 10 years since then. But like,
Little Jewish Eric, why don't you take a little bit of the chocolate? I'm sorry.
Sebastian Shaw was really a terrifying villain. He was a very big threat, and I was terrified every time he was on screen. So he did, performance-wise, he did really well. Writing-wise, they made it a point to like really show just how difficult of a villain he might be to overcome for them, and that. God, I'm just thinking of the joke that happened earlier. I'm sorry. It's not coming out of my head.
No, I actually don't think it's offensive at all, because that's an actual fucking scene. Are you fucking forgetting that this was an actual scene?
No, it was. I remember it's a scene. It's just that like.
That's literally what we would have referred to him as, though. Like, this was Auschwitz, and he was a Nazi, so of course he'd be like, yeah.
You know what? I'm sure one German fan will get it. What's this guy?
Fine, it's fine. We'll know.
Anyway.
I would have gotten it if I said a slur, but like I didn't fucking say a slur. I just pointed out like a part of the movie.
And he
That's
did a
right.
little funny accent.
That's his accent.
Yeah, he did.
He got him in German. He sounded.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If anything, you're the racist.
Yeah, Nina?
No, you!
No, my question is like, did he develop an American accent, or was I just mishearing it? Did he?
I think
speak
he-
a German accent
No,
throughout.
he had a German accent at the start. And then
Alright, keep this in mind, Nina. Sebastian Shaw doesn't age.
No, yeah.
Like, theoretically, he's been around since, like, probably the 1800s.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Like, he's already been around the Earth for possibly 100+ years before the events of First Class. So, like, he's already been around. So, in terms of time, he's had all of it.
Yeah, that's
To like
true.
learn languages and stuff, so he can really switch between stuff like languages and any piece of knowledge that has been established because he's just been around forever.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was just wondering because I kept thinking I was mishearing. I was like, is that an American accent? How did he develop that? That's interesting. And I was like, in fairness, it was just something, a little nitpick of mine. Not a nitpick, but like just a little point of reference where I was like, huh, interesting. I don't
Oh
know.
no, but keep
I'm
in mind he
mishearing.
never spoke English when he was speaking German.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, really?
Never spoke English. He spoke
Spoke
German.
German.
When he was speaking in German, he only spoke German. He never said a word of English.
I was really impressed by the accents then. They were really, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Then again, I'm not sure like how a really fluent person would say it, but it was convincing enough for the movie for me, so I'm very impressed then by the actors' performances. Even Michael Fassbender's like French and his French and his I was like,
Terrifying.
why?
No, Eric's just so fucking great. He's just like, let me pull the crown out of your cavity.
Yeah! Oh my god, that was really
Oh, the
scary.
bar scene.
No, the
that's
bank
the
scene
bank
No, the bank scene.
with the teller, that
Not
he's
the
like,
teller, he was just like a
Yeah.
oh,
This is
man.
what led to the bar scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was before the bar scene. And he was just like, let me pull that crown out. And if that was me, I wouldn't have put it in my hand because it's been in his mouth. But I'd just be like, what I did, like, you know.
Yeah, no, we get it. We get it, don't
But-
worry.
Yeah,
Look what I did.
I also do
Anyway.
like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique in this one, where she still cares about the role, at least at this point, and she will continue to care about the role in the sequel, and then kind of not care in the
Just
other
stop,
sequels.
Yeah, she just stopped.
Yeah,
He's like, I just did Hunger Games, fuck this.
yeah. But she was great as Mystique. Don't remember the other Mystique that well, but like,
Rebecca Romaine.
yeah, this Mystique version of Mystique for these two movies at least stick in my mind the most. And the other mutant that really stands out because he had such a funny scene is Banshee, when he's on the ledge and then
And
like,
they
I'm-
just push him off.
yeah,
And he goes, ah!
and then the second time he's like, I don't know if I can do this, I'm gonna die, and then Eric's like, come on, you fucking. And he pushes him off the disc, and he has to scream for his life, literally.
Yeah, those are fun moments.
Um,
And we get also Havoc, which is Cyclops' brother. I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
I kind of like his powers more when they're like around him instead of concentrated beam. I
Oh,
feel like that's more
okay.
devastating. Yeah, just him. Hula
He's
hooping.
the hula hooping. Um,
Dude, can you imagine fucking having to do the Conor McGregor thing every time you launch your power?
No, it's an exercise, so it's good for him.
The Gago, you want to get a concentrated blast, kumiligilin ka muna.
No, but I mean, like, I see what, like, this is a dark comic book movie, not gonna lie. Like, yeah, sure, we got Auschwitz at the start. I was like,
what happens to
damn,
Darwin?
that's- No, not just that. Before
You know, that
was...
shit doesn't make sense. Like, we'll discuss it later, but that shit
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
But, the part where you start seeing people fall out of the sky.
Raining CIA man.
Raining men. I'm like,
Reigning CIA.
the village people are here.
It's like fucking truly is the end times we're seeing Republicans fall from the sky.
But I don't know. That was the point where I was like in the movie. I was like, so this is where it's going.
And
It's-
the
I'm
last
11.
the last act of the movie takes place in the most tense moment in history in general. We can get to that later,
Big
but
pigs.
yeah. Oh my god.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
No, not Bay of Pigs. That's the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Here, but yeah, there are dark moments. But before we get to those moments, there are some mutants that really don't stick out to me. Like say Darwin, he was just there to be to die essentially.
The first, just to show how big of a threat the guys are going up against.
Yeah, Emma Frost is fine. Didn't really
Yeah,
buy. She is. Didn't really buy January Jones's performance. Performance-wise, she's alright. Like she didn't really stick out to me. I do like Zoe Kravitz as Angel, and that's about it.
I think this is a good opportunity to put some fucking clothes on Mystique. And they didn't. I thought that Rose Byrne had a pretty good performance as, you know, the
More.
white woman who cares. I think Banshee was good for comedic relief, and I fucking hate the Darwin thing. I hate it, because it's just like he can adapt to survive most of the time,
Not from the inside.
and like the one time it fucking mattered, it's just like, never mind, can't adapt.
Joke.
Like that's his whole power. His body can adapt in order to survive to whatever it takes. Why can't it survive? You know, taking a load from Shaw. A load of power. Get your head out of the gutters, guys.
God, why did you laugh? Joe,
He
like,
says it with such a calm voice. He knew what he did.
This is a Christian channel.
This is a Christian channel.
We're all wholesome people here.
sure.
We're all children of Jesus.
We all
You
made
know,
out of dirt and mud.
We all came from Africa. Pangea. History.
Pangea.
History.
Anyway, yes, Joe, finish your statement.
I don't know where I was going with that. That was sad, man.
Sorry, Sam,
was me.
I'm so confused.
We went off on such a tangent.
You gonna tell me to finish my statement, Enzo? You wanna fucking go, bro? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like, this really is just an Xavier Magneto. No matter what direction you pull it in. And, everyone else got kind of thrown to the sidelines except for Mystique, but I think they were pretty good characters. But this does fuck up the timeline. Like, why is it that Havoc is older than Scott? He's never been older than Scott. He's always been the younger brother. And all of a sudden we have to buy into the idea that, like, Scott's the immature, problematic brother. When Scott was, like, the Boy Scout for decades. Decades. Now he's the teenager with issues. Well, like, whatever. Like, the timeline shit, just ignore it.
Aside,
I have one question. Sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
have a question for everyone. I don't understand all of a sudden. Was was Eric supposed to be a rebound for Mystique after the whole Hank issue, or am I misreading it? Because I kind of found that to be a bit. Maybe it was just me, like, maybe I'm just like confused. Like I'm misremembering
Kind of.
it, even though I watched it, but I didn't understand where that came from, personally.
What scene?
Like, can someone the scene where Mystique and Eric like hook up
They
or
didn't
just
hook up.
kiss? They didn't hook up, they kissed, but like, I didn't understand where that came from. Can someone explain that to me?
Holy shit! I kind of forgot Beast was in the movie. I
think
like
she was
Beast.
just horny. I think she was just horny, and she got pissed off at Beast, and she got bored and went for Fassbender.
Good choice.
I think it was nothing more than that, and also Fassbender seemed cool. She was like, maybe he'd like the fuck.
Maybe he's not bothered by his feet.
That's really like as far as I can take that. I don't really know, but like
Alright.
I guess it was just a scene to point out that like Eric's just like, I don't want you with the normal skin. Give me a real skin. I want to see my Dory looking ass girl. Like,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I was just wondering, like, because again, it was kind of out of left field for me personally, but
Okay.
whatever. I am not gonna complain. It's just a small gripe, I guess. Not even a gripe, just a point of no.
A small grape.
Small
Small.
gray.
But I feel like that's where you were headed, and then you were like, gripe.
Gripe.
thanks for reminding me though that Beast was in the movie before the comments screamed at me.
Okay.
Like I do like Nicholas Hoult as Beast, and like kind of more than
Got him.
what was the name of the other actor who was Beast?
You know what's funny about you pointing out Nicholas Hoult as Beast?
Hmm.
He was dating J-Law at the time of this movie.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, they were together for a while.
Mhm.
Dang.
No,
I had no idea.
But yeah, he's a very sympathetic character, especially his desire to cure himself of his mutation. Fortunately for him, it gets worse. But he kind of looks cooler with the fur and stuff. Well, not in this movie. It's kind of, his face is kind of weird to me.
The furry stuff. I
I
feel like
Anyway.
there's a
don't
better
think that was
way
a
to phrase
choice,
that.
man.
Anyway,
I
Uh,
don't know where this review going.
Getting blue fur? That sounds like a choice.
anyway,
There's so many underlying
It's okay.
offensive jokes within talking about X-Men.
there. Fuck. Anyway,
I
Um,
didn't know what that was.
aside from the last act, which we'll get to in a while, is there any standalone scenes that you really like? I know one that Jomer 7 and I might be thinking of the same scene, which is the one in Argentina. In the bar.
That's definitely a standout scene.
Yeah,
Uh,
Is this the one where he's like,
hmm?
don't move?
No, no.
Which one's the Argentina one?
Argentina's the one, the bar scene that you were talking about earlier.
I'm sorry. Look, it was in the bar.
Yeah.
Look, it wasn't like in my face where they said the words in bright white font.
They did. Wasn't
It did.
It was genuinely
Oh,
them.
my bad. I
Argentina.
didn't watch the movie.
Before the review, you mean? For the love of God, don't give people the impression that you haven't seen this movie, but just stuck your ass out for that
Been lying
stuff.
to us the whole time.
Yeah.
Hasn't seen this movie.
But
These
yeah,
are good guesses though. No,
they are.
I did watch the movie, just not for this review. Sorry.
I still do really love the bar scene. The whole way it goes down with Magneto talking to the Germans. They're like, "Hi, I'm a tailor. I'm a pig farmer," and he's like, "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from this place in Germany. My family, their names were taken away from them by tailors and pig farmers." And then you see the guys going,
You wanna see my cool tat?
I still have this. And then the guy goes, "We were just following orders. Blood and honor. Which one shall we shed first?" Blood. Stab. And the bar owner's like, "Freeze." Stabs him with that knife, and then stabs the guy in the same spot, probably.
love that shit. He Assassin's Creed through that knife.
Exactly. And the guy he stabs like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Let's just say I'm Frankenstein's monster. I'm looking for my creator." Then just shoots him. It's like,
Yeah,
fuck,
and,
that's
and then they're just like, what did he say?
In English, because it was.
What? What did he say?
Look at the Deutsch.
Let's just say I'm Frankenstein's monster. Speak it to Deutsch.
It gets put through the wall.
poor guy. But yeah, any other scenes that sticks out to you guys?
The
I've been
submarine
at the
scene.
mercy of men, just following orders. Never again.
Oh, fuck, that scene was amazing.
Yeah, that was really
Shazam.
Tristan.
Up and away, news. Live. Sam.
Uh,
Oh god. Oh, we're just laughing for a full minute. I'm so sorry.
Go, Nukes! Go, Nukes, go!
Oh, wait, my stomach hurts. Because we transitioned from Speak the Deutsch to this.
At least you got cleanse.
Anyway,
Alright. Can we move?
what?
Oh, wait, another standout scene to me was, what's this? The Eric, you have to reach a point of, like, anger and, a crossing point between anger and serenity. And this is, like, a line that stuck with me forever. Like, this kind of formed me as a human being. Like, in order to unlock your full potential, especially as a person with power, you have to reach a meeting point between your own anger and serenity. And like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
Nina.
feel like this. I don't know if you guys find this the same way that I did, but I really like the scene towards the end after Charles gets shot, kind of like after the whole thing, and the way that like Michael Fassbender's performance as Eric, like the way that he looked at him, there was so much care and respect and just fear, knowing that he essentially shot his own friend. And it was so captivating for me, because I was just like, oh shit, they're really friends, like they really care for each other, and he's really like heartbroken, like you can see the heartbreak in his eyes, and it was so like powerful for me, because I was just like, fuck, that's a really good performance. And I kind of like teared up a little bit. I was like, fuck, oh, they're really good friends. I'm such a softie.
I don't know. For me, the standout scene was Eric lifting the submarine.
Oh,
I was like,
oh, that one. Oh yeah.
oh, we in danger. Holy shit.
The thing I love about Eric and Xavier's relationship is just the sincerity behind it. I remember a scene from Last Stand of all places, where someone was talking shit about Xavier after he died, and Magneto was like, "That man did more for me than we could ever fucking talk shit about him." Like, as much as they fought, like Eric would not allow anyone to talk shit about Charles. Like, he has nothing but respect for Charles. They just saw things differently.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's just the most beautiful, intense gay ship in Western comics.
I thought I was the only one who was like, it's kind of gay, but like,
Oh no! It's definitely like, even X-Men fans, like straight up from the '90s X-Men era, would go like, yeah, this is just two people with a lover's quarrel, just making it everyone's problem.
yeah. I thought I was the only one who was like, that's kind of fruity, isn't it? It's kind of fruity.
And Nina's just like, oh, please don't let this be my yaoi mind. Like,
Yeah, no, I was really hoping it wasn't my yaoi mind. It's like, obviously, as like the one of the few girls on this podcast who also like happens to like BL you really hope when you're coming into a review that, oh, I hope this isn't the gay ship in my head. But you mentioning that, I was like, oh, God bless.
It is a gay ship.
Oh my God.
Definitely really gay. It's definitely, like, they have ruled 34 the shit out of Charles and
Dear Lord.
Aaron, so.
Alright, looking it up now. Oh.
What?
What?
Not the time.
Not the time, dude. I do really like Magneto's speech towards the end. It's like, the humans have played our hand, now we play ours. It's like, oh, this really is the beginning this time. And God help you if you get in this way and you're a human who is abusive to mutants because he's gonna kill you. I do like the scene in the submarine where he's talking to Sebastian Shaw and he's like, I agree with everything you said. Unfortunately, you killed my
Coin.
mother.
Coin.
And then you just zoom in on
2, 3.
you just zoom in on Sebastian Shaw's face and he's like, fuck.
Wait, sorry, can I also point out another scene? It was the scene between when Charles was controlling Sebastian Shaw and they were going back and forth between that scream. My God, that was
Yeah.
intense. He was really good. Again, I was very impressed by the performances. And it was just, you can see how much care they have for these characters and how they don't want to fuck it up again. So, that was really painful to watch.
Yeah.
Because in turn, like, Charles was experiencing what Shaw was going.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wait, we can't forget about the tornado, man. Forgot about that.
I hardly remember.
See, she forgot about it.
Cyclone.
Is that his name?
Like, I know, so I know his name is Cyclone.
Before we go to our verdicts, is there any other scenes that you would like to point out?
Like, the coin thing was really nice. Mutant and proud!
Proud.
That was pretty funny.
Did she have her hands by her hips? Yes, she
No.
did.
I'm just being an SJW. I just assumed that's how all of them look like. Look, guys, I'm progressive. I swear to God, like, I have nothing against, like, social justice. I just have something against people who have principles.
Okay. And people watching going, what?
Wait a
Huh?
minute. Wait. You contradicted
Seb's
yourself.
just trying to create as much chaos. Like, it's not that I don't believe in your causes, it's just that I want to mock you.
I just don't want to hurt you, but I do want to kill you.
No, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to mock everyone, whether or not they're right.
I know
Nina's so disturbed.
I know I've said this before, but I do love the fact that the stakes in this movie is like, this is when the world would have possibly ended if any mistake happened, and this is where the last act of the movie takes place. It's like, my God, it's the most tense moment in history. And like, in real life, it's like, if either of these ships crosses that line, it's World War III and the world goes to a nuclear holocaust. And with the mutants there, it's like, what a perfect way to close out this very tense act. With the Cuban Missile Crisis and them going like, we have the mutants on the island, we should kill them right now. All of them are going, yeah, we should. I was like, you were just cool with them a few moments ago. Oh, forget it. Did you notice Stryker was in this movie? Or Stryker's father was in this movie?
Stryker's father?
Yeah, Agent Stryker. He's one of the CIA agents.
That's not Stryker's father, that's Stryker.
No, this is Stryker's father, because he said, my son's at home, William.
Yeah, because like in Days of Future Past, you see a younger version of Striker
Yeah,
fishing.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
You were saying, Enzo?
But yeah, it's the fact that the director's like, what part of history should the last act take place in? The Cuban Missile Crisis. When we all thought, when we all thought the world was about to end. But yeah,
You weren't born, shut the fuck up.
when the past generation thought the world's about to end. Obviously, it didn't, because we're here.
Like, you weren't born in bitch, I wasn't born. We didn't know about the Cuban Missile Crisis. We didn't experience that shit. The only thing we could have been like, kind of scared about was Y2K.
I didn't even know what that was until like a few years ago.
Anyway.
Yeah. Wait,
A lot of the day people.
but yeah, Jomer and Nina, any other scenes that stood out to you that you want to talk about before we end?
No, the rest of the movie sucked.
Oh, okay.
Budgeted Putin having a lap dance with an invisible woman. That was kind of nice.
Right, Stalin, you idiot. He didn't look anything like
Like Putin.
He looked like
Sorry,
Stalin.
Stalin,
Yeah.
not Putin. Fuck. It's the
All of Magneto's costumes are cool within the sequels, but his costume at the last part, I was like, that's not that good looking. Yeah.
That was terrible. That was a high budget cosplay at best.
Yeah.
The little scarab beetle on his forehead.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is that?
It looked like a fucking bottle opener. Like if you need to crack open a cold one with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So you like.
There you go.
Well, can Magneto just take the cap off?
He's lazy like that.
What's that? What must he overcomplicate?
Goes to Emma Frost, can you use my helmet to open it? It's like, why can't you just fucking open it with your powers?
No, you think Emma Frost like grabs a beer, he hands him her helmet. I'm like, yo.
They're just like, isn't this your whole thing?
Before
It's like Eric going, oh my god, I got a gun.
before we get offline again, what would you rate this movie overall?
I'd give it a solid 8.5. Just because it fucked the timeline so much. And there were certain things done with certain characters that I was like, you could have just not done this. Like, the Havoc thing, I still don't think they should have made him as old as he was. All the side characters are pretty forgettable. But like, this did started my favorite period of the Fox X-Men shit. So, for Base Fender and Jimmy McElroy, and yes, I'm not making a mistake there. Google Blades of Glory, you'll know what I'm talking. Yeah, this movie's really fun. This is kind of better than most of the shit I've seen out of the MCU, content-wise, like strictly content-wise. So, I'd recommend this movie to anybody, even if you're not much of a superhero person. If you're like a history nut who just wants to see history like done wrong in an interesting way, like I recommend this movie to you. You're gonna have a lot of fun with it. People who've gone through like racial oppression or like really against that shit, and you want to cathartic a bit by watching Magneto kill all of these people, you're gonna love this movie too. So, a lot of people are gonna enjoy this, and I hope people continue to check it out because like this movie has been slept on since the beginning of fucking time. And people should stop sleeping on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Stone, giving it an 8.5. The same reasons as well, like the side characters weren't that great. I mean, forgettable. They were played amazing. But majority of the time, it's just mostly, you know, James McAvoy and Magneto. God, I keep fucking up their names.
Michael Fassbender?
It's okay, we all did.
I've been calling him Base Fender the whole time.
I know, but you know it purposefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie's really fun to watch, and there are a lot of memorable scenes in my opinion. And I really wish the X-Men started out like this. Like they stuck with the 60s theme, and I love the 60s theme, the whole aesthetic. And yeah, I think that's all I gotta say for it. But yeah, it's a fun watch, and I really hope people start watching it more. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have a friend who is an X-Men fan, and he hasn't seen it yet. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's
What?
really sad.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, it's old. It's like it's in the old
I'm
times.
old.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm old.
But yeah, and I really hope people, you know, would give this one a chance. How about you, Nina?
Yeah, 8.5. I think 9 would be too much in my opinion because there were some things that really stood out that weren't. Well, actually, it's the opposite. A lot of things besides the top three people didn't really stand out, and everybody else was kind of left to the back burner. Which, admittedly, I understand because they had to focus on Magneto and Professor X. So it was very. But I think you can still have good side characters even if they don't have a lot of screen time.
Hmm.
So that's that. Same reasons as Seb, really. There's nothing else I could add that he didn't already say. So yeah, 8.5.
Um, I'll also give it a solid 8. The ones that really stand out to me are McAvoy, Fassbender, Kevin Bacon, and Jennifer Lawrence, and somewhat Roseburn. But aside from that, most of the side characters are weak in terms of how they're developed. But the action's great. The story's a really good story, X-Men story, and a really good story overall. And this is a very good start to what was hopefully the start of a brand new chapter for the X-Men movies. But we kind of know how that played out. But for the time being, it was a very good start. So yeah, 8, and I kind of like it more.
Stop doing the Phoenix Saga, guys. Just saying, stop doing the Phoenix Saga. It doesn't work.
Um, and I kind of like this more than the first two Avengers movies. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa, those are
Okay.
big words.
Those
Yeah.
are big words. I have nothing against
Hot
it.
take.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing against it either. I'm just like I'm wondering like what other people are gonna say about it. But like you're allowed to have your opinions, talaga.
Yeah, but no,
Valid,
I
valid.
agree with Enzo here. I kind of like it more than the first two Avengers films because this one's kind of really, it's nice to rewatch.
Yeah.
While the first Avenger movie is not really, I was like, it was a good like first movie to like watching it for the first time. I mean, it was kinda
Yeah.
Spectacle. It's a good spectacle.
yeah.
Anyway, so
Take us away.
Early on, Seb talked about how the X-Men represented the civil rights movement, and throughout the years, they represented people of different ethnicities and sexual orientations. My question to you is, what does the X-Men mean to you, or what is the legacy of the X-Men at the very least?
To us.
Yeah.
Oh damn, I'm not much of a comic book fan, so I don't know much. I did watch a bit of the 90s.
I guess I can take a bit of the reins on this one.
Yeah.
The X-Men represent that there's no room for discrimination out of like things that you were born into. People can control who they are, and people can control what they were born into. So what's the point of the discrimination? No matter what front you're coming from, you know, it's like there's no point in being an elitist. Like let's say even within comic book fans, like let's say we have a comic book fan who's also a fucking racist or sexist. Like, when the fuck were you the cool kid? Like, what's the point of you like being pissed off that someone's a girl now or that someone's gay now? Like, when the hell were you ever part of the social majority that you think you have any right to fucking discriminate? And this just and like X-Men as a franchise just shows you how culturally relevant comics have always been, because they reflected society as it was, or as it currently is. Like, you still see comics attempting to do shit like this, but like, it doesn't always hit, but you see the attempt. Like, DC addressing things like the heroin pandemic in the 70s, and like addressing other things such as the civil rights movement, World War II with Captain America, immigration with Superman. Comics have always reflected the world around us in a way that made it either feel idealized or demonized. Either way, it's pointing out, it's sensationalizing, sometimes romanticizing, and sometimes giving us a more cynical take on the world that we know. Comics are not for children. Not exclusively, at least. Comics are a reflection of the world around us from people who experience life as well. And X-Men and its modern iterations show that they're still doing that. So don't underestimate the power of this medium. This medium has done more real good for actual people, for actual cultural and social issues than many of the things that we'd like to take more seriously. comics matter, guys, and they've always mattered. Give it a look.
Yeah. If I can add to that, as somebody we are a part of a marginalized group. Admittedly, all of us here, we're POC. Me, I'm a woman, and for some of us, who I'm not gonna name for the sake of not outing them, not straight either. And, you know, X-Men for me was something. It was one of the first superheroes where I realized like they were the first kinds of superheroes where I realized like, oh yeah, they really do represent something more than just badass people with powers. They have some form of they're reflecting what culture and society have at the time, and the fact that even up until now it's still a time like the topic of discrimination is still a topic that's being talked about today just goes to show how much we haven't really improved, but also that there are people out there who are willing to talk about it and bring it to light again over and over, regardless of how much backlash we get. And I agree with Seb. Who are you? Who are who are you? The people who say why do they have to be gay? Why do they have to be women? Who are you to say that? Like, you're a fucking loser.
When the fuck have you been cool? We're all fucking losers, bro. You're not cool.
You're not cool, bro. Like, you're all fucking losers. Let's get over it, Just get over it. There's really nothing that you're not contributing to. Like, who are you to be a fan of something that has talked about marginalized people, that advocates for them? Like, how can you be a fan and still have that mindset? So that's really my point that I wanted to make. So, yeah, thank you.
If anything, anyone can take out of the learn from the X-Men for me is that we should as a society and species be more inclusive or accept others of who they are and where they come from, and the more we do that, hopefully the future will be a lot brighter. That's all I have to say. But this has been our video for X-Men First Class. As always, please continue to be safe, social distance, wear masks, get vaccinated as the soon as possibility presents itself. To the people on the board, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I'm Naina on Instagram. That's it. I'm just Naina on Instagram. I stream on Geeks and Degenerates on Facebook with everyone else, so that's where you can find me.
I'm also in Geeks and Degenerates. If you want to find me on Instagram for like, I don't know, random haul videos and maybe me talking about my relationship, I guess, Instagram and Seb the Pharmacist. That's all. And I might be having more projects in the future, but for now that's it.
You can follow me at Instagram at Jump, all caps. I like to drop GU on.
His actual account is, I'm kidding.
Oh my god, the notifications. Nobody knows me.
But thank you so much for watching our videos. We hope we will see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.